This episode is brought to you by EMG Pickups. I love my 817s. Our new song, Thinking in Tongues, are these pickups. Head over to emgpickups.com and use the promo code HEAVY at checkout to get 15% off. That's emgpickups.com, promo code HEAVY for 15% off. We are also brought to you by DistroKid. If you want to get your original music up on streaming platforms like Apple, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, DistroKid can do that for you. I personally use them, and they've been great to me. Head over to distrokid.com/VIP/Garza to get 30% off your membership. That's distrokid.com/VIP/Garza to get 30% off. Cool. Well, everyone, welcome to the first solo episode. This is going to be the first one where it's just me and our producer, Zack.
How's it going, guys?
Zack, he's actually why we're doing this.
Yes, sir.
If I didn't have Zack, then I could not have the mental, emotional capacity to do this shit every week. So you are a godsend, dude. So thank you for being a part of the team, man.
Of course, man. Stoked to be doing it. It's a lot of fun.
It's so weird that I was talking to you, it might have been a year ago now, and we were in your garage.
Yeah, it's been I want to say at least 6 months for sure.
It's so
been
bizarre.
A good 6 months, yeah.
And I remember, like, I was talking about how I needed help with the podcast. You were talking about you want to start a podcast and you had questions.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how life will give you an answer right in front of you.
Right.
And you won't even, like, you were right in front of me. I couldn't, hey,
so funny.
Hey, you want to, like, do this?
Yeah. No, that's funny because that conversation literally started. I was like running on my treadmill in the garage and you popped in and I was like, oh, cool. And then, yeah, we just brought up the podcast and like, deep conversation 3 hours later and then, ended up doing this. So it's crazy how that, like you said, how life just kind of gives you those opportunities and that's why you just have to kind of go for it and not question it.
Totally.
I think a lot of times people like overthink those kinds of things.
Yeah.
You gotta just go for it. And usually it works out.
Totally. I do the same thing. Like you'll have an answer, I'll have an answer right in front of me and it'll take like years to process.
Yeah.
Oh shit, like there's like, it was right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like, it is like the cliche, like it was right underneath your nose.
Yeah.
It's a cliche for a reason because and it pisses me off too. I'm like, man, the answer was right in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. But that's also why you can't overthink it,
Totally.
Just go for it.
That's a hard thing not to like overthink things, especially when I purposely, consciously do it. I don't want to overthink. I'm trying to like just go in. Like,
True.
Your brain's just like, fuck you.
Because then, you get the second guessing, you get the doubt.
Yeah.
The what ifs, right? That's the big thing of like, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? It's like, well, we'll deal with it when that happens, right?
Totally.
Well,
Zack, love you, man. I'm glad you're a part of the team. You've seen some pretty cool things behind the scenes, so I just want to bring everyone in with what's going on. Because usually I don't know, like this is gonna be episode 35.
Yeah.
And obviously, like my name's on it, but I never really talked really because my thing is like I want to ask questions and get I like to give people the ability to complete their thoughts, which takes a while. And I noticed especially when you have headphones in, like, they're not done thinking, and I know they're not done thinking, so I'm gonna let them talk. So it's weird. So basically, my name is Chris Garza. I am the host. It's strange to even say the word host. I don't feel right saying it, but I guess if you put it on paper, that's what I am.
Yeah.
And I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to. So far, it's been a year and a half doing this, and I'm pretty pumped. And today is Friday, July 1st. And one of my favorite records of all time. That's why I'm wearing the shirt. If you can't see it, I'm wearing a white Limp Bizkit shirt.
Represent.
July 1st, 1997, a band called Limp Bizkit released a record called $3 Bill Y'all.
Sir.
And it was 25 years ago, man.
That's unreal.
It came out today.
Yeah, I can't even comprehend that because thinking 25 years back, I mean, I was a young kid.
Yeah.
But I remember, it's weird. That was like, I feel like Limp Bizkit coming out is probably one of my earliest memories as a kid.
Yeah.
Is hearing that record. I mean, and just thinking, wow, whatever I don't know what they're doing, but whatever it is, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that in any way possible.
Totally. It's like, all right, I gotta buy tickies. I gotta make sure they're 2 sizes too big for me.
Yeah, totally. I have to get into some kind of like extreme sport, whether it be skating, BMX. Like it's all there's all these little things that kind of go together.
Yeah.
Like in that in like the '90s new metal culture.
Yeah.
That it's so interesting how like that brought all of us together.
Totally.
To the point we're all here today. Just kind of saying, yeah, we all grew up the same way. We all love this culture. So it's cool that to think 25 years later we're still here talking about it.
It's weird, and you said it like literally, like you wouldn't be hearing my voice right now if it wasn't for bands like Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit for me, for sure, it's like top 5.
Absolutely.
For sure. And like,
for sure.
There's a few bands that like you have where it's like you know exactly what you were doing, where you were the first time you heard that band. Limp Bizkit is definitely a memory for me.
100%.
It was. Should I just go into it?
Yeah.
I should.
No,
not.
let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back to 7th grade.
Nice.
I want to say it was science class, and the teacher was Mrs. Malgeri. She had big old titties, dude.
The first teacher where you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have teachers like that when you're going through puberty.
Right.
I'm just gonna say that out loud.
Like,
And
why is the teacher that thick?
Yeah, it's like,
you had
dude,
that
like,
thought.
Dude, my goodness. And I'm not sure why, but it's a really cool concept, but I highly doubt they'll allow it now. But they let you play music for the first like 5-10 minutes of the class.
I remember that.
Really cool. Yeah. So people will bring in CDs, a CD, and fucking play it. And
sick.
I remember his name too, Adam Gazard. We went to elementary school together. He brings a CD. It's a red one.
Yeah.
Puts it in, and Pollution comes on.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what the fuck is that?
You couldn't even comprehend it, right?
Couldn't. 'Cause I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just one of those moments, dude. Like, damn, Limp Bizkit. Okay, and then I asked him, who is that? And
yeah,
you go out and buy the CD.
Totally. Yeah.
It's like, I know that it's just so weird. Like and then your brain and ears chain link things. So whenever
Absolutely.
like I hear Limp Bizkit, you could kind of. I go back to like 7th grade and like being in that little class and like seeing him and seeing the teacher with big tits and
yeah,
which I call them DTs.
Okay.
Because I like to abbreviate things.
Yeah. DTs.
Distracting titties.
There you go. Distracting. Like it's an issue.
And when you're a kid, dude. I'm what,
Yeah.
like 11?
Right.
Little kid. And so over here I have DTs. Over here I'm being blown away by Limp Bizkit. And over here I'm supposed to be reading a book and I can't read. So so I had 3 issues going on at once.
Right.
My God, that was a fucking magical time. And speaking of not reading, dude, I didn't read a book till I was 25.
Really?
Yeah, like from front to back. I'm talking like
dedicated to finishing
boom,
it.
like, I'm gonna read a book and I'll get this one. But I never read a book in my life.
Wow.
I don't even think I try to look back, like, could I even read back then? Did I know what the words were saying to me? But I didn't read till I was 25.
So like when you would read a book, would you kind of just like skim through it type of thing? Like,
okay, so you're talking about book reports.
Yeah, that exactly. Like when you had to read a book.
So what I did is shout out to R.L. Stein, which also, this is another birthday. In July, I have in my notes right here. R.L. Stein, he's 78 years old. He writes still 4 books a year.
Wow.
And so he's at 180 books right now in the Goosebumps series. So I bought Goosebumps
180.
solely for the fact of, I don't know, this is great marketing.
Yeah.
Like the cover and like, oh, it looks sick. So okay, I'll buy a Goosebumps book. You got to do a fucking book report. And
Yeah.
And I see the cover, I read the back, and I take the book, I open it, I read the middle, and that's it. And I don't remember what the fuck I wrote down.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You just paraphrased
exactly.
the page that you read.
Exactly, dude.
Dude, that's awesome. You know what I would do? I would read, I don't even remember what it's called, but you know, like the section at the end of the book where they summarize the whole book?
Yeah.
I would just read that, and that would be my book report, because they didn't read the book. So as long as you have the basic details down.
Interesting.
Like it was only like 5 pages or so. I believe is it the epilogue?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. But yeah, I just read the end of the book where they summarize the whole thing.
Interesting.
And it's like, okay, I know exactly what happened now.
Wow.
Like, I don't know the little details, but that's not what you would put in a book report anyways.
Yeah.
They want you to paraphrase it because they're testing your paraphrasing skills. That's why they make you read books in the first place. It's not to like, oh, you need to know about this random story.
Wow.
You know, so it was I think that was the first time that I was forced to like try to like life hack something. Or I'm like, okay, I just need to get this passing grade. How can I get there without spending, 2 days reading an entire book?
My goodness.
So I totally feel you on that.
Wow, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just paraphrase and hopefully you get a passing grade.
It worked every time. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
The problem was this goes more into high school where the whole class has to read the same book. And then you get the mini heart attack when they call your name to come up and start talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's when, okay, obviously. And they know you didn't read it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I said, how I could sit down and just like pretend I read it.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know what I was doing. Oh my goodness.
That's the worst when you get like, I think getting caught in a lie at school teaches you a lot about life, right? Because it's like the first time you're like in front of an audience and the teacher's essentially roasting you.
Yeah.
To kind of like try to teach you a lesson in a way. I think you grow as a person after that.
Oh, totally.
Because you get so embarrassed and you go home that day and you're just like sad.
The embarrassment, dude.
Like you walk home with your head down.
Yeah.
You know?
So you actually read books when you were in school?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't always read the whole thing. I would sometimes skip things that seemed like it wouldn't come up because it's like just filler. But I'd read a good chunk of it, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's so strange, dude. I can't even like imagine that.
But you know what's funny? Like I was kind of into books. There were certain like Goosebumps I was actually into. I also loved I'm a big horror movie fan in general, so I like anything with that style. Like I used to read like the scary stories to tell in the dark.
Yep.
I love anything that had like a theme like that.
Totally.
And I would read those. But like as an adult, I never got into reading books like in my free time.
Yeah.
I guess I'm more of a visual person, so I always preferred movies.
Well,
I got way more out of watching something than reading.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, your eyes and brain will process more than what you see more than, I get it.
Totally.
Well, the first book I read was Head's first book from Korn.
That one I heard was crazy.
It was sick as fuck. I don't know what made me... It was... it might have been a new thing when you could go on your phone and then you could pull up... You could buy a book and like read it as like on like your phone.
Right. Oh, like an audiobook kind of thing?
Yeah, like but the it's like a printed version. Like it's like on like you like read it.
Oh, and then you flip the pages.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see. Yeah.
I don't know what made me do that. I was on a long drive to Las Vegas. I was going to see Rob Zombie.
Nice.
And Marilyn Manson. Sick ass show.
That's a sick lineup.
And I don't know what made me read that book, and like it's which I've had conversations with Brian about that. It's like your book was the first book I ever read. You know,
wow.
I mean,
all the way through
from front to I don't know why. I still don't know why, which always trips me out about life. Like how you're drawn to certain things sometimes. I don't know why I went to my phone, bought that book, and just started reading, and couldn't stop. I think his story, it took like something so compelling just to keep my stupid brain engaged for that long period of time.
Right. Well, it's someone that you knew and you respected.
Yeah.
Because I know you're a big Korn fan.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah, so it probably was just that it was that interesting that you had to give it a chance,
Totally.
even though books aren't your thing.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
started like this whole. I mean, ever since then. I mean, and the second one was Buildy's book,
Right.
which was sick. And then a couple years passed. Then I stopped doing drugs like an idiot, and then I just dove into books. But I wouldn't have. Now I read every day.
Nice.
Which is so strange. It's so strange to be out of school and just nothing. Now I'm compelled to read all the time. It's
Even
so
though you don't have to, right?
I don't have to. It's so strange.
I think that's what makes it better, though, that you get to choose to read a book, right?
Yeah.
You're not forced to.
Yeah.
That was always the thing in school that I think, like, for example, like, I knew a ton of kids that realistically were super intelligent, but in a school setting, it just didn't cooperate with their brain. The way their brain worked didn't fit into, like, the education segment as far as, like, how the academic situation was. But, like, if you talk to them just one-on-one, you're like, oh, this kid's smart. They're smarter than me. But, like, whatever it is, school doesn't work with how their brain works, you know?
Yeah.
And I just knew a ton of kids like that. So it's interesting how, just to see that, like, school used to be, like, the benchmark for if someone was intelligent or not. And now we know that that's very much so not true, because there's so many people out there that do amazing things outside of school, like never even having a degree. So it's crazy to see that.
Totally. Yeah. We all have our own path. I graduated. Half my band didn't graduate.
Right.
Just,
Yeah. No, totally.
It's just like whatever your path is, you choose. Fucking just do it, man. But it's so weird how, like, and this actually ties in to Limp Bizkit, which is why we're going on this road.
Yeah.
It's like those moments, like just basically like lay out your life. Boom. Like if I didn't listen to Limp Bizkit, I mean, I wouldn't be reading that book.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be here right now reading books and I guess feel like a level-headed person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the band would not be here if I was not reading. It sounds like cheesy and like, oh, the guy reads books, but I'm an idiot, so I have to. And if I didn't have that, dude, the band would not exist. It would not, like, Suicide Silence would not exist. And you have to, like, kind of, it's like then you pinpoint things. Why? So, oh shit, I mean, was this or is that? Well, I do this because of that, and like it all comes from new metal.
Dude, that's
that's where it starts and ends, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's so funny you bring that up, because like as you were saying that, I was just thinking, like, dude, new metal literally built my whole foundation as a person. Like, honestly, there's like
so
I think I never even fully realized until this moment. Like, I kind of thought about it in my head before, but dude, I would not be doing any of this. I wouldn't be in the music world. I wouldn't be doing anything like this, photography, if it weren't for, like, discovering, like, System of a Down and Deftones and Korn and Linkin Park and all those bands. Like,
it's crazy, huh?
it just opened my brain to basically to what's possible, like, in life in general.
Totally.
Just their music. That's how powerful it is.
You just had a real life realization in real time.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
cool.
That's so crazy.
It's weird, huh?
Yeah.
That's why that music was so fucking special. It opened up your mind.
Yeah.
And you take that with you your whole life, man.
Yeah.
And we've both, done that. Well, I guess without knowing. Everything ties into those bands. Everything I do, everything you do, now that then you realize that it just ties in to like the bands you heard when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And the music
Absolutely.
you listen to, and we're obviously involved with the metal scene behind the scenes, Yeah. That's so bizarre.
Yeah. No, and I think the only explanation that makes sense to me is that new metal broke all the rules. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty, like, that's kind of my philosophy that I follow, is knowing when to break the rules in order to advance as a person and discover, like, just a more true version of yourself.
Wow.
Is to know when to break the rules.
Wow, that's so true, man.
Like, a lot of people are afraid to do that because our society is built on, like, rules, and it's important to have certain rules, but you also need to break some of them sometimes. And
Absolutely.
new metal did that. It broke like the traditional song structures, mixing different genres, which wasn't really a thing until nu metal. I mean, in some ways, but not in the way that like Korn did it, or like even System of a Down, like mixing like traditional Armenian music with metal. That's such a out. Like if someone just explained that to you, right? Like there's a band that does that, you wouldn't even know what to think. But then you hear it and you're like, oh, this is genius. It's perfect. You know?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like it doesn't work on paper necessarily.
Yeah.
But when you hear it, it doesn't matter what it sounds like on paper, because it just works, you know?
Would you consider yourself like a nu metal kid?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I grew up like wearing like Linkin Park shirts and stuff. Like I was about it for sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that's why you're involved with the podcast. It all makes sense. I'm like, why do I like Zack?
Yeah.
Why is he going to be a part of this? I don't know. But it's those subconscious things, dude.
Yeah. It starts off with, and I know a lot of people listening would probably relate to me on this. It all started off in middle school wearing a black hoodie, even though it was like 100 degrees out.
Of course, you got to wear a black hoodie no matter what, dude.
If you didn't do that, they didn't know. They wouldn't know that you were a nu metal kid.
No matter how hot it was, you're gonna wear that black shirt, or
because they know you listen to Korn if you wear that black hoodie.
Yeah,
you know, dude, that's so funny.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, to my core, I am a '90s nu metal kid, and that's just who I am. And you know, even I'm 36 now. I'm still that guy.
Yeah,
you know, I'm just older and some gray hairs are popping in my beard now. I had my first gray beard hairs like 2 months ago.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, there they are.
What kind of feeling was that? Because I feel like it's probably different for everyone, that realization.
It was, to be real, it felt like success.
You're like, I'm here.
Yeah, it felt like only because of what the band has been doing behind the scenes, and myself. I mean, working harder than ever. Like the past year, working harder than ever.
Yeah.
I can't even compare like the early days of the band or me working or being in school. It was just like the mental and emotional shit that I personally have been putting in just to make this whole thing fun and the podcast and function.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Like I see some bags under my eyes, and some gray hairs are popping out. It felt good. Like, oh shit! Like this was fucking earned, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
You worked your ass off to get to that point.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then time passes, and you get a little bit, insecure about it. But there is that too.
Yeah. No, I feel you, because I'm like on the cusp of turning 30. I'm 28 right now, but
Nice.
It's around the corner. It's gonna happen. I'll blink, and then tomorrow I'll be 30.
Zack the Kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
but not quite yet.
So, your first nickname that I gave you was Stony Zack,
Yeah.
and that's just what I have for now until it evolves, and I think it might be Zack the Kid now.
I like that. That's almost like, I like the 20s gangster kind of vibe to that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's sick.
Zack the Kid, 28. Holy shit, dude!
It's crazy, right?
What's that like?
It's
Oh my goodness.
there's like a lot of memes about this, and people say this all the time. Like a lot of millennials kind of use this phrase, but like it's like being an adult and a kid at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, because like I definitely feel mature. Like I feel like an adult, but
Yeah.
I definitely don't feel like fully grown. But I think it's more of an emotional thing. I still have that kid inside of me for sure.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people from our generation, even you're like only a couple years older than me, but like your generation to mine, I think we both kind of had that same upbringing, like the nu metal thing, and growing up playing Tony Hawk. Like we grew up playing video games and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we're always gonna have that like kind of that childish aspect to our personality. Like as no matter how old I get, I'm always gonna like love like cheesy 80s horror movies and stuff. I'm never gonna like, at least my goal, I never want to be like a jaded old man, no matter how old I get. That's my goal.
That's a great goal.
Yeah.
I think that's an amazing goal.
Yeah, because then wouldn't you say that that's kind of just giving up when you get to that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess for me, my goal is to like continue enjoying life, and no matter how old I get, I still want to have that young energy to myself going
Yeah.
into my 30s, you know.
Totally. You could probably do that by listening to new bands and not being like, oh, it's not as good as this.
Yeah, not being an elitist.
Yeah, I try to do that too. I mean, I'll definitely catch myself like, oh shit, Garza, you're being a fucking
Right.
So I'll listen to a new song or a band and have that open mind that we had when we were teens.
Yeah.
It's just funny that you're bringing back what you had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hearing new
it's
bands.
full circle.
Yes, it is full circle. New bands. No matter what genre it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like that's how I discovered bands in the first place, like being on MySpace and
Sick.
just literally looking at like the top artist charts and finding like you guys and a bunch of other bands like Vela Maya and like countless other bands that like realistically opened my eyes to like what's possible in music.
Yeah.
And it just made me want to be a part of it in any way, like whether it's just going to shows, buying merch, like I just wanted to be a part of it, you know? So it's crazy that like, here we are and still going strong and the scene's still going strong. So it's cool to see, man. I mean, as someone that watched it grow to the point where it is now,
Yeah.
you know?
And the scene's growing still.
I would probably argue it's probably the biggest it's been maybe since it started,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah,
it's wild to see.
Yeah, especially if you're talking like the deathcore scene, it's getting up there, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, deathcore is finally getting to the point where there's like viral TikToks, you know?
It's so bizarre.
Like, just thinking, like, if you went in a time machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you went 15 years back in the past and
Yeah.
you were at a show and you told some kid at a deathcore show, oh, yeah, in 20 years, there's going to be girls making TikToks to Lorna Shore breakdowns. They'd say, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. There's no way. Because it wasn't even fathomable because this music was just created, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, just to express an emotion, right?
Yeah.
It was never like, oh, this is going to be a mainstream
Totally.
thing, you know? So to see it now to where it's at, seeing like going to the Chaos and Carnage shows and stuff and seeing like all the bands doing amazing on merch and like actually like making a decent income for themselves is so sick. Like that's amazing.
It's pretty nuts, man.
Yeah. Because I think none of those bands on that tour would have dreamed that would happen.
No. Oh no, dude, totally. It's so weird, like if you say something years ago, it's like you can't even fathom that even being possible.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like if you had told me, wow, it's gonna be a podcast, you're gonna be the host, I'm like, no way, dude. That's
Right.
fucking I will never do that.
Yeah.
Then going from a quiet dude to completely got to transform my whole insecurities, basically, and just put them out there. It's like holy shit. I mean, things that you thought weren't possible, and you fast forward, you're just doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
It is fucking insane. I mean, with the and the deathcore scene where it's gone as far as mainstream, it's like I mean, even I couldn't really fathom that, and I'm pretty ambitious,
Yeah.
It's very. I love seeing bands like Lorna Shore. They're fucking killing it. It's great. I hope they get bigger. I hope they stay focused. I've seen.
Yeah.
So there's always like that turning point with bands. And unfortunately, it's damn near impossible to I guess you could say make it in the industry while you're signing and touring. And holy shit, people are streaming your songs. You got hype, and it's even more rare that those bands actually stay around.
Yeah. It's the longevity, right?
Yeah. I mean, many reasons. Ego, bands get a taste of the hype and they believe it, which is the worst thing that you can do.
And not realizing that that's not a permanent thing, right?
Yeah, like it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it just sucks, like, seeing it, and I just hope, like, oh, my man, I hope they don't I hope they really keep going. I hope they don't have, like, it's a bunch of weird shit. Like, I hope they don't have a manager that's in their ear. I hope they don't have this. I hope they're focused. I hope they fucking put out a sick next record and they get through the hype when they become, like, an established real band.
Yeah.
it's impossible to make it, and it's even more impossible to break through the hype. And bands make careers out of the hype, which is like they kind of stay like where the hype was, but they never break through to that like longevity, serious like, or you're like a fucking.
They
headliner.
hit a ceiling, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And then that's how tours get ruined. You know, like, oh shit, like they won't play with this band or under this band. So it's fucking.
When the politics get involved, right?
God,
that's the worst part,
dude.
Yeah.
And me, you know, I mean, I just want to see the genre get as big as possible. I just want to see every band succeed. That's all I want to see. And this, when the bands themselves stop that, is like, it's just so hard. It's heartbreaking, dude. It's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, I think once we can get to a point where ego isn't involved in especially our scene, because I grew up in it, I've seen every phase of it. I've seen parts where everyone was friends. I've seen parts where a lot of people weren't friends.
Yeah.
So I think to the point where it's at now, we have the potential to have this like golden era that I think we've always like dreamed of.
It's there.
But everyone has to work together.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And even like working together with different genres. Like in one of the last episodes, we talked about that Suicide Boys tour. And they're taking Code Orange and Knock Loose on tour with them.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's such a huge opportunity for everyone involved in that. The last one they had Turnstile, and I went to that the Gray Day last year.
Yeah.
And I saw, like, after that tour, like before that tour, Turnstile, they were doing great. Their new album was blowing up. They're killing it. But I noticed after that tour specifically, they went from like a big hardcore band, like a well-known hardcore band, to like now they're just like a mainstream rock band. Like they're a household name. And I think it was just being introduced to a new audience and them being like open-minded, cool guys, being willing to like, branch out of their comfort zone and not, not get involved in the politics like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Which is sick to see. I love to see that, man, because I grew up with like everything, like 90s hip hop, metal, like whatever, like punk.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see like artists of all these different genres being friends now and collaborating. Because I guess for me, I was always expecting that to happen. I was kind of like waiting for that because, if you guys all collaborate and work together, literally the ceiling is endless. There's no ceiling that you can hit.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's not, you're removing clicks, and now it's just music fans in general.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think, in my opinion, I think that's the future, where like genres don't even matter, and it's just like artists all collaborating to try to like, to be the most successful and also to create the most unique music possible. It's kind of like just let the next generation kind of like lead the path, So.
Which, yeah, I mean, it's always what like, the younger people say. It is true. I mean, if they think it's cool, I mean, that is cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's us being open-minded to that, and as you said, we gotta work together, man.
We have to.
You have to, man. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the future might be like a whole like genres might even be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm already seeing it, man. I'm seeing, man, there's like even like a whole new wave of like rappers where they're like, they're like making beats that sound kind of like when you remember like the electro metalcore bands, and they're using like that kind of like anime style beat structure and stuff. So there's things that are going on right now that I think people won't even recognize as being like groundbreaking until like maybe 5 or 10 years from now. So I'm stoked to see where all that stuff goes.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Or it comes out now and people talk Sean, and then it's all of a sudden sick in 10 years.
Yeah. Well, those guys will be their biggest fans in like 5 years. So
of course.
It's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
Man, so nice. Yeah, hopefully you all just work together.
Yeah.
But goddamn, it's not like that.
I think it's getting there.
Yeah, it might be,
I've seen, from my view of the scene, I've seen even a lot of people that I knew back in the day that maybe would have been a little closed-minded. Even those people are now I just started to notice like that they're more open minded and like
Cool.
checking out other genres and stuff. So,
That's sick.
or even bands that they didn't like, or they now are open to them. So, I think we're at that turning point where we're kind of getting back to that kind of like the golden era, like we were talking about earlier before the podcast started. You know, like it was so crazy in the early 2000s and the late 90s where nu metal was like legitimately accepted in mainstream society.
Yeah.
You know, you had like Fred Durst dating Carmen Electra, and like they had that release party at the Playboy Mansion where there's like P.
crazy.
Diddy there, Snoop Dogg's there, and then Jonathan Davis is just in the background hanging out with all of them.
It's insane.
Like, I don't even think like we could comprehend that,
No, you can't.
but
You
it,
can't.
it happened. Like,
Yeah.
we lived through that, you know?
Yeah, they really blew like the whole door open for like heavy music.
Yeah.
You know, or bands like us, or we're just riding that wave. I mean, I always like it's controversial, but you know, Suicide Sounds is a nu metal band. Like, I
Absolutely.
mean, it's just like I get it. I know who we are. I know what we sound like. You know, we're a deathcore band. I get it. But how it started and like how like the formation of the genre, like
Yeah.
that came. We took that straight from them, straight from Limp Bizkit and Corns and that whole. It was more of like a lifestyle and like a mindset and being open minded.
Yeah.
And things that we're actually subconsciously figuring it out now. Still, you know, like I do this because of that.
Yeah, totally. And the thing is like deathcore wasn't a genre when you guys started.
Yeah,
No one even knew what that was. You guys were just making music that you wanted to make, right? Like you had a vision and you didn't say, "Oh, we're going to make this thing called deathcore." It just happened, right?
it's nuts.
You know? And to hear, you know, I think some people might be shocked that happened because you guys were fans of death metal and you were fans of nu metal.
Yeah,
And you essentially kind of combined the best parts of both genres.
yep.
And now it's like, you know, it's like one of the biggest.
Now it's standard.
Yeah, it's just like exactly. Now there's metalcore, which is like it's like it's taking deathcore and then you're mixing melodic, you know, pop parts to it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And that all formed from the deathcore scene originally,
so sick.
which is crazy. So it's crazy to see how far we've come with like Warped Tour and all that stuff. Like it's a legitimate part of society. Even people who have never gotten into it, they know what it is at least.
Yeah,
They've heard it. You know what I mean? Which maybe like when we were growing up, there's people that probably never heard metal or didn't even know what it was.
it's true.
Versus now, even if you hate it, you at least know what it is. You've heard a couple seconds of it at one point.
Wow,
You know, even to me, even that is an achievement.
it is.
You know, that our culture that we grew up in is like, it's worldwide. Everyone at least knows about it.
It's worldwide, prestige worldwide. Wide,
Mr. Worldwide. Shout out Pitbull.
Shout out, man, and I guess this podcast turned into Respect the Limp Bizkit, and I think we both figured out more of who we are as people.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, that honestly, I
learned.
learned some things for sure.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Dude.
Limp
Sick.
Bizkit, man. That first record, before we land the plane here and stop, but that record was produced by Ross Robinson, which produced the first two Korn records, first two Slipknot records. He produced one of our records that obviously wasn't well received, but he's a legend. And there's besides my family, there's my two favorite humans on the planet are Ross Robinson and Monkey from Korn. So he's a very unique guy,
Yeah.
and you could hear what he puts into those songs and the record. So yeah, that record's produced by Ross. Is why it sounds like that way. It's that style. Mixed by Andy Wallace. With if you don't know who Andy Wallace is, let's see. He mixed Nirvana's Nevermind. He mixed Iowa.
Legendary.
Yeah, he mixed Systems, Toxicity.
Wow.
And I think he randomly mixed that first Limp Bizkit record. So he also mixed Sepultura's Roots.
Wow.
So it's that combination of like with that Ross production and Annie Wallace mixing to me is like it's a gold mine because you have like that like the real raw abrasive sound, and then Annie Wallace comes in and just fucking makes it sound sick.
That's so funny though that he also mixed Nevermind by Nirvana, because I've always loved Nirvana because they weren't like a metal band or an extreme band.
Yeah.
But they had that energy about them.
They got energy.
Even their melodic, beautiful sounding songs had this like rough, raw edge to it that I love. That I was addicted to Nirvana when I first got into them, and I think that's why. It's probably the way the mixing was done, the way it hits your ears.
Yeah, mixing, dude. I'm still learning now. Like when you hear a mix, like we're done with our new record coming out soon. It's like you hear mixes, like, oh, it's a completely different record when you get this mix and then that mix. And I was like, wow, this is like, it's so mind blowing, like how. And then now you said the magic word, like you're trying to capture a certain energy.
Yeah,
you're trying to capture like, and it's funny when you capture energy. Sometimes it might not sound better. Like you have this mix that sounds better, but there's something missing.
It's a feeling, right?
It's a feeling. It's and that always fucking blows me away, dude. Like, oh shit, well, we like this mix because there's energy to it.
Something you can't explain, right?
You can't explain it.
You either feel it or you don't. It's just one of those.
And these records, like this Limp Bizkit record and all these Ross records are like, we still go back to those records as like the blueprint. The energy that you try to capture. And so, again, this podcast kind of turned into a respect for Limp Bizkit and nu metal, and we figured out that we both love nu metal, and I learned a lot about you.
Yeah, man, we're both nu metal kids. That's why we're friends, man.
Yeah, it's why you're involved with the podcast. So everyone listening, I wanted everyone to meet Zack. Zack is he handles the cameras and he does the edits, and it's why we look badass.
Man. Stoked to be a part of it, man. It's been killer time for sure.
You're not going anywhere, dude. It's sick,
dude. I can't wait for the future, man. Keep killing it.
It's gonna be nuts. So we're gonna do a test. I want to play the first. It's on the far left. Play the first few seconds of Limp Bizkit's Pollution. It's already there.
Oh,
top left, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Just fucking play that riff.
Let's rip it.
Okay, when I fucking heard that fucking riff, dude. Okay. What does he say there? Yeah.
He's just yelling, bro.
It's not.
I don't even think there's words.
That's primal shit. That's my favorite shit. Primal shit.
I think that's the thing that nu metal had that other genres, even like death metal and black metal, didn't have. Is it's believable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like black metal's cool. It has its own aesthetic. But when I listen to black metal personally, I don't feel like, oh, these guys are like really meaning what they're saying. Totally. I feel like they're playing a character. Yeah. Versus with stuff like Limp Bizkit and Korn, when I listen to it, like you said, it's like primal. It has this like, I'm like, oh shit, I have to sit down and listen to this.
It's primal, dude.
Yeah.
And we personally, we take that primal like vibe, and we took that from nu metal. Like you take that energy of it.
Yeah.
You know, and then you put it into death metal, which is what we did.
And that's why people loved, like, for example, The Cleansing. Because it had that raw primal, even the way the snare was tuned is just like, it gets in your ear.
Nothing makes sense, but if you strike a chord, man, then people like will look back, oh, this is a fucking sick record. But when we were making that record, oh my goodness, nothing made sense.
But that's why it was great, right? Because you guys probably weren't overthinking it.
I don't. It's funny. Do we still do that today? Like we try to get back to like. Those split-second decisions are a lot of times the best ones. No, do that. Don't do that.
Exactly.
But like, when you sit there and you overthink this shit, it's like, then things get kind of it loses that thing.
Yeah.
And you said it earlier, and I didn't realize till you said it, like that music does open our minds, and we take that for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
I'm 36, and I realized when I'm open-minded or I try or take a risk in my life, it's because, I was in that class 7th grade and with the big titty teacher and I hearing Limp Bizkit and started everything. And
That combination.
yes.
That was the combination that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DTs and new metal. I mean, that's it.
DTs and NMs.
Yeah. New metal, and that's it, dude.
Dude.
Well, holy shit.
Awesome, man.
Well, shit. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up on a high note. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not paid, but I need to say something. This whiskey, this Metallica Black and Whiskey, we had a shot as a celebration earlier today, is amazing. So shout out to Metallica. Not only are you one of the best and biggest metal bands on the planet, but your whiskey is pretty sick. So
Incredible whiskey. I was very surprised.
very surprised, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So shout out, man. I don't know who they did a collab, but they did everything right.
Shout out to them for caring about their production,
And that's what you call execution.
Attention to detail, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's badass. So shout out. Well, anyways, Zack.
Yeah, man.
Anything else you want to add?
I think we pretty much covered it all, man.
What's your IG handle?
So yeah, my videography IG, if you guys want to check it out, is Astral Media,
Cool.
which is at ASTRAL Media. So if you like videography, you like photography, check it out for sure.
Cool. And we'll be on tour September with Lamb of God. So check out those dates. We got New York, Florida, Denver, Colorado. So I'm also playing some updates. We'll be in Kansas, New Mexico on the way to tour. So check out those dates. Be on the lookout. Next week we have Ricky Hoover of Sulfur.
It's gonna be sick.
And yeah, that's just gonna be sick. So tune in next Monday, every Monday here on the old internet, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you hear podcasts. So yeah, until next week. See you then. Later.
See you later, guys.